ourselves. First of all, that you have to base your argument on evidence. And evidence is not just hearsay. It's not, oh, in such and such a book it says this, or in such and such an inscription it says this, and this becomes evidence. You have to test the reliability of that evidence. So, if you're using a book, a text, you have to ask questions like, who is the author? What is the intention of the author in writing this book? Who is the audience that the author is addressing? Why is the author addressing this audience? What is his purpose and function in addressing this audience, etc., etc. In other words, even a text, a book, which we've all grown up in the old days to believe is authoritative, has to be questioned. There is no other way around research. Every bit of evidence you use, you have to question, and you have to assess its reliability. Is it actually true what that bit of evidence is saying, or is there other evidence that contradicts it? And this is where, for example, in the study of ancient history, the kind of evidence that you use can sometimes be extremely important. For many, many decades, in the early periods, the colonial scholarship, the nationalist scholarship, all tended to rely on texts, on books, and all tended to treat the books as factual. You pick up a book like the Kautilya Arthashastra, which is in fact a theoretical work on political economy. How should the best political economic system function? This was taken to be a description of the reality of the Mauryan period. And that was where some of us began to say, wait a minute, this doesn't quite match with the inscriptions of Ashoka, which seem to be suggesting a different kind of society. And then the other very important evidence that came up was archaeological evidence. That is, excavations of how people actually live. And that is something which is startling in terms of comparing it to the textual evidence. Let me give you another example of that. If you remember, those of you that have read the Mahabharata or know the Mahabharata, know the story, there is the very famous episode of the Asura Maya and the palace that is built magically for the Pandavas. It is such a magnificent palace that when the Kauravas come there, they can't make out whether it is stone or whether it's actually water. And it is stone, and yet Duryodhan picks up his dhoti as he's walking because he thinks it's water. This is the height of technology in terms of construction. And everybody sort of said, my God, I mean, in that period they had palaces with this, that, and the other. Then came the excavation of Hastinapur and Indraprastha.